All right, guys, it's not every day that you actually hear about innovation, okay? Everybody throws that word around, but there's not a lot of innovation that's happening. For instance, look at humanoid robots, what Tesla's doing with their Optimus project. Just 2 days ago, you have Bezos joining with OpenAI, Microsoft, and a number of other players investing in a company that's also involved in humanoid robots. Well, nobody has a humanoid robot yet. And there's no money being made in humanoid robots. So why would you invest in that? Because it's innovation. It's going to happen. There will be humanoid robots on manufacturing lines replacing repetitive jobs, jobs that humans don't want to do, or just jobs where there's labor shortages. Now, with that said, you can look at that and go, well, I want to be ahead of the curve, so I'm going to invest in a company I'm betting that will do well in humanoid robot space. Again, this is why I own a ton of Tesla. Because I really believe in Elon, and I believe that they're going to have at least a portion of the market share when it comes to robotics, humanoid robots. Plus, I get possibility of self-driving, them sending that to other OEMs that have failed on their self-driving programs. So, again, that's innovation. You got self-driving. How many people are in self-driving? How many people are using it today? How many people even are driving an electric vehicle? Hardly anybody. I want to be in now, okay? You don't want to get in when there's no risk, when it's like, oh yeah, I see that. But if you can spot future trends, you'll do well as an investor. Well, that brings me to the point of this video. There's another innovative category happening. Sports has turned into almost like a job. There are so many jobs now around the world of sports betting, DraftKings, FanDuel, you name it. All these states are releasing restrictions. The states love it because they can make money off it. They tax it. So when you watch a football game, now you feel more involved and it's fun. You put $100 in the game, all that. Well, this company, Blockchain Sports, I'm doing an AMA with some of their lead affiliates. They're launching this brand new concept that I just found really, really exciting, and I want to be a part of it. It's called Blockchain Sports. So this whole video is me examining a brand new innovative opportunity, a place where sports becomes technology. So these guys have all sorts of AI technology that they're able to track players. They're planning on creating their own DEX. Aletheia Network is what it's called. This is Aletheia Network site. They're also making it where you can tokenize players. Okay, so if you believe in a young athlete like this guy here, you might want to own his NFT, and then all future contracts, you can get a piece of that. Well, again, I know nothing about football, or in America we call it soccer, as you know. I'm not going to pick what players I think are going to do well. I don't care about that. I want to benefit from everybody playing in this space. So this whole video is a conversation between me and Brent and Susan about this event where they just introduced this opportunity to 5,200 people in Coca-Cola Arena in Dubai. And so it's called To Get Involved in the Founding Stage. So they're crowdfunding right now. If you want to be part of the founders, like the very early stage, they've already raised 30 million. They've got professional football players that are all invested in that. You're going to see everything in this video, but you can see I put a couple grand in this thing. I'm looking to possibly upgrade, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think? This is the same, the company that was behind Daisy. Daisy's the Forex trading platform that's been going up for 3+ years. Everybody's been making money. You can see this Daisy here. Life is good with them. So there's a lot of momentum happening. They have over 5,200 people joining in Dubai. Well, that's because you couldn't do that if they were just some rug pull DeFi project company. That's not what this is. But I wanted to do and give you the due diligence. So follow this video along because this is a very innovative thing. I don't know of anyone else doing this. By the way, it's not just going to be football. This company plans on getting into horse racing, possibly NFL, wherever there's money. And then I just love the idea of knowing, imagine LeBron James. You see him coming up in high school. You think he's going to be a draft pick. You want to own his NFT. And why does he even want to be a part of having his contracts under NFT? And all? Because he's getting exposure to marketing. This whole interview goes. They already have a huge soccer academy in Brazil. They already have players established. So this has been the works have been going on for over 18 months. They just launched this in Dubai this past week. I'm bringing you an interview with the people that were actually there. Enjoy this interview, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, I'm obviously an investor, so but I mean, I might go big on this one. I'm just collecting data right now. So let me know your thoughts. All right, here's my interview with Bren and Susan and Blockchain Sports. Okay, guys, to say I'm excited about this conversation is an understatement. This is Bren and Susan. They've been on the channel before talking about Endotech's project called Daisy, which is still up and running and cranking profits. It's an AI trading platform that I've been for over a year. They've been in it for, how long you guys been in the first project of Endotech?
Over 3 years.
Over 3 years, cranking out profits, guys. Well, they've done so well with that they've attracted the attention of other investors and other opportunities. So they just got back right now from an event at the Coca-Cola Arena in Dubai with over 5,000 people. Okay, so this isn't. I want you right now to park everything in your head that goes, oh, this is another DeFi ROI DApp project. That's not this. Okay, this is, think about like how VCs act. They see an investment opportunity. Like look at just yesterday, you saw Amazon, Jeff Bezos, Nvidia all spend millions of dollars into a startup in the robotics space because you see Elon starting robotics. These guys are catching on. Robotics is becoming a brand new trillion-dollar market that is zero. There's $0 in it. There's no revenue in it. This is a huge opportunity, okay? So that's robotics. Then you have full self-driving. Nobody's making money on full self-driving because we don't have it yet. But in your head, you're like, one day that's going to be an option where you just push in your car. I want my car to drive itself, whatever. Like these are opportunities that aren't in the marketplace, but they're coming. Well, there's another opportunity that we're going to talk about in this video that has to do with sports. And it's turning sports into technology, technology with sports. And it's a crazy, unique opportunity that has got my attention, has Bren and Susan's attention. In fact, these guys have already put in multiple six figures into this opportunity. I, as an investor, am looking for ways to put my capital to work into breakout technology opportunities. So if you've owned NVIDIA stock for the last 3 months, congrats, you made 60 to 100% on your money. These opportunities, like, because NVIDIA is going to be everywhere. You have to, AI is going to be taking over every software platform you can imagine. They need NVIDIA's chip. Well, sports is growing like crazy, especially the number one sport, I think, in the world is football. Now, if you're watching from America, I'm not talking about the tackle Tom Brady type sport where you throw this odd shaped ball. That's what we call football. I'm talking about soccer / football. Is, if you've ever traveled anywhere in the world, it's a huge sport. And so you got to get global for this video. If you're in America, you're like, oh, this video is about football. You're not thinking right. This is the number one huge sport in the world. And there's this opportunity that has been in development for over 18 months. And you, because of the power of crowdfunding through crypto, get to be a part of something that's on the ground level. So with that said, that's kind of my little intro for Bren and Susan to take over and to just share what they experienced in Dubai. They got back from this event. This project is just launching. I just invested myself. And I want you guys to listen to what they have to say, and hopefully I can ask the questions you want to ask. You guys can leave questions in the comment. We're going to keep this conversation going. They're going to come back on the channel with a formal presentation, but I was like, please guys, just come on the channel. I got to hear an update from your event in Dubai. Let me know what you guys thought, what you're doing. Obviously you guys love it. So you've invested so much money already. So talk to me about what you guys experienced and why you're so passionate about this brand new opportunity.
Excellent. Well, first of all, thank you for having us back. We definitely enjoy coming out on your panel and working with you and your community. So thank you for having us back. And I just want to start before I hand it over to Bren by saying the very first feeling that we experienced was relief. And I'll unwrap that statement, but we've been under NDA since the first week of December. And this project is so grand and unprecedented. It's the most impactful and potentially the most lucrative project that we've yet to be involved in. And it was very, very hard to keep it a secret. So on the day of the main event, we initially felt relief. Finally, we can talk about it openly because it's great to talk about.
Right. And
Yes.
with over 5,200 people in the room, I'm sure the energy was crazy. And how was it received? What do you think, Brent?
Yeah, it was received very well. I mean, it's quite a elaborate project to unpack, but we're going to do our best in this video to give you like a 30,000 foot vantage perspective and just see how you can benefit from it. And so I guess we'll start with, first of all, we'll tie in later on how this does involve NVIDIA and even the NFL in terms of the long-term roadmap and what you can have your hands on here for the next 6 months. So as you may be aware, if you watched the previous video with Daisy, the concept of crowdfunding is very powerful for companies to be able to take advantage of it. The past project broke a lot of records, crowdfunding for a company called Indotech. That's now become a private fund. Jonathan, ourselves get to continue to reap the rewards from that, and all of you that took action, it'll continue to grow. But the goal was never just to have one crowdfunding project. The goal was to have a crowdfunding platform with a strong, thriving community to build multiple streams of income one at a time. First one is now set in motion. We're going to earn from that indefinitely, potentially from decades to come. The success that that created attracted a waiting list of high quality, high caliber companies with groundbreaking technology that want to take advantage of this powerful community to spread the message and spread the word of their idea and their company. But the nice thing about what we're going to dive into here is that it's not an idea. Unlike a lot of crowdfunding platforms, you're investing in an early stage startup, an entrepreneur, you have no idea if he's going to be able to execute on the business plan. And 3 years later, you might get, an autographed t-shirt or a mug or a hat or a thank you comment. Here, we get to reap significant rewards from multiple streams through the revenue that this project generates. And we're going to dive into all of those aspects of how you can earn revenue here.
And the development that they've been working on for, as Jonathan mentioned in the beginning, and Brent just touched on it as well, for over 19 months. We're probably into beyond 20 months now. The groundwork that's been done is mind-blowing. It's shocking. They have over 1,000 employees working on the technology side of it. And then all the other employees are in place. So the starting foundation is strong. Concept has already
And they've been able to
proven,
attract. Sorry, I didn't mean to catch up, but adding to that point, like they've been able to attract professional athletes, former, legendary soccer, like football players. So this isn't just like, hoping for the best. They've some really well-known people have put their name on this project.
absolutely over 30 legendary footballers.
And we have the video we'll share it with you where to access it that shows each one of them standing up with the crowd that were there at the event. You can see their names, you can look them up. A lot of them retired now. One of them, for example, Romario, top 4 goal scorer of all time, I think, at the World Cup for Brazil. So some phenomenally influential people.
Yeah, because it's a great idea. It's a great concept, and if it's good people behind it, like it's worth a shot to see. I just think this could be really huge. So again, right now, people watching, they're like, well, what is it? What the frick are we talking about? So we got to get into the meat and potatoes here.
Do you want to go first, Susan?
Go on.
So I guess we start with the problem that's being solved, and that is that a lot of the economic value that's created in sports is created by fans, and on the other side, it's created by the players, the talented athletes. And it's been a monopoly. There's a private group of people that have capitalized on all that economic value that's been created. This next crowdfunding project is there to democratize the sports industry and allow both the fans and the footballers and everyone to benefit from all sides. And so it gets better because what we're actually doing is integrating technology, the top AI technology in the world to track the athletic performance of these athletes. Because a company like FIFA can hide an injury, sell a player, and there's massive financial losses when it turns out that that player wasn't actually who they said he was. Here, the blockchain doesn't lie. Everything from sleep patterns to nutrition to the speed someone kicks a football to his endurance improving over time, all of that is right there in the blockchain. And you can see a digitized version of an athlete's career right on the blockchain.
Hard-coded player data collection.
And so, to give you an example, first of all, during the next phase, it could sell out fast, but we get to own the foundation of all of this and benefit from every transaction that ever happens with every athlete in every sport for the lifetime of this company. So I want to run you through an example. There's a footballer that was at this event that has a reach of 60 million people. And I want you to imagine that this marketplace has launched where a kid fan in Portugal can own 10% of this digitized version of this footballer's career, whatever. Um, this influential person goes on social media on his Instagram and says, I think we found a real diamond in the rough here. I think you guys should get behind this kid and sponsor him and support him. When they do that, they get to profit from anything that happens, including contracts and being sold to Barcelona, which has already happened. But guess what? Millions of people go over and a bidding war starts. And in this marketplace, people are fighting to own a portion of this NFT, this digitized version of this kid's career. When all of that happens, every single transaction that happens, millions of transactions, we earn from. Because right now we have an opportunity to become a founding partner of this entire project, and football is just the beginning. When you hear from a man named Dr. Eric who spoke on stage, they're already working with the top NFL teams. They're already working with the top teams in every sport. So it's incredibly powerful to give transparency to an industry that has been a bit murky and unclear, hopefully.
So this reference and what you're looking at right here are the NFT part, component of this, the NFT marketplace. That's the social part. This is launching on September 1st. So between now and then, we are crowdfunding that component of it, but all of it, everything is built on a native blockchain, layer 0 and layer 1 multi-chain blockchain. And so the data collection and multiple verticals, in fact, 10 are in place right now of income streams, data collection, virtual reality, science and sports evaluation, sports science and health evaluation, which can be used in multiple sports and is actively being used right now. All of those income streams are built on and plugged into this technology, which you see here on the foundation.
Let me just summarize quickly. Like you're getting access to this crazy billions of dollar world of football market. I like what you said. They're democratizing it. They're changing the way that it's not just the owners that are making all the money, the billions of dollars. They pick up LeBron James, they pick up that Michael Jordan contract, whatever. You're saying there could be a place where these young athletes say, I'll subscribe to, giving a portion of my worth away by, being in these contracts. And then you get to own a portion of whatever these, athletes are able to produce if you own the right NFT, right?
Whatever a club is willing to pay for that athlete, because the football club Barcelona is going to be watching, looking at this kid whose valuation went to 10 million because he's so freaking fast. Whatever the case.
You're saying the athlete is going to want to be a part of this?
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
But isn't the athlete like think of Messi or whatever? He'd be shooting himself in the foot if he did this, because he'd be like, "Oh crap, I just gave away a portion of my athlete."
Hold up. It's not that. It's so every athlete is sponsored and supported within an academy. And the contract that every athlete, when they're traded, there's a contract, and the contract makes payment. So when the athlete is choosing to be in an academy, which accelerates his career, he's not sharing any of his money. It's the contract money. But typically, here's where the democratization happens. Typically, only the insiders get that contract money. Now, we as founding investors, because the crowdfunding component of it, you're actually buying founders pack. You become a founding partner of this whole ecosystem, is what blockchain sports call it, an ecosystem. And as a founding member, you get the contract. You don't take away anything from the player.
Let's
And
also,
it's 50% of the contract goes to the founding members.
let's also clarify that this isn't for Messi.
No,
This is for,
Yeah.
they look at
Right.
teenagers, and for every 1,500 that the scouts look at, one is allowed to get through. We, in the second week of January, we flew to Brazil and were brought out in helicopter to tour the first
yeah,
academy in development. It's 5-star academy. They have accommodation even for their parents if they need. We're talking they open a bank account for this family as the kids moving through this crew. And he's being tracked by blockchain technology. They literally have AI cameras on the field
Yeah, I've
to
seen that.
so everything's being
So the
tracked.
kid, so if I'm good at football and I'm in Brazil or somewhere around the world, I hear about this academy. I'm going to be drawn to go there because one, it's well resourced. So they're going to be able to legitimize my talent and give me exposure to people that actually have money to give me contracts so that I can get further and down the road. And for
right.
me as an investor, I'm a part of that company basically on the front end. And but let's so clarify this. What if all the players that go through this academy, they just don't make it? They're nobodies. They don't make any money. So
Well, that's where the beginning scrutiny starts. So they have professional scouts that do the initial scrutiny. So not everybody gets in.
to the
An
academy.
applicant doesn't just fill out an application like college and get in. They're
Right.
critically
Okay. So it's
scrutinized, and
basically
then
like a sports league that has scouts that goes finds talent. You're part of the sports league
correct.
at the beginning that's doing that.
Yes,
Okay.
Government of Brazil, when the government of Brazil heard this idea, they opened up access to every football pitch in Brazil to find talent. I mean, the Minister of Sport, everybody is behind this. It's in their DNA, it's in their blood in Brazil. So that was the perfect place to start, especially
Right.
because the only path out of poverty for a lot of these kids is to become great at sport.
Mhm.
So we're serving that need, but also this is benefiting the football players. And again, we have a video that'll show you all 30, you'll see their names, you'll see them getting up in the crowd, raising their hand, and then they all came up on stage. They just want to be seen to be involved in this because for a retired football player that was a legend, what's his opportunities to do with his influence? What, sell on a beer commercial? You know, but this is something that's in alignment with his passion. So the goal is to build out 12 academies around the world in this year, alongside those football players and their influence. So each of those professional football players will basically oversee that academy with their influence. It's going to
So
attract the best of the best talent.
who's funding those 12 academies if that's the goal? Like, is it through the crowdfunding right here that's being used?
yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's
So
also
the,
go ahead.
the crowdfunding is to facilitate expansion from where the foundation has already landed at. So now might be a good time because we've been talking about the footballers, we talked about the NFTs, and then we've talked about the technology and the foundation. So Brent and I like to talk about it as in three pieces of a pie. So you have a pie and you break it up into three components, and it's the best way to kind of get the most simplified possible vision of this. The first piece of pie is the recipients. That's the young athletes. And right now in this moment, the fields and the players of the first academy that we visited that Bren mentioned they are young athletes that wouldn't otherwise even be discovered. They're in smaller, remote areas of Brazil. They don't have the opportunity to get to high enough, I guess, acuity and quality of academy for the scouts to even see them. So it's giving access to otherwise unprivileged, very unprivileged young athletes, and they're going to them and finding them. These are the recipients. Now, as all of the academies grow out and it gets more global, some of these recipients would have had the chance, but the first one just happens to get to these young athletes that wouldn't otherwise have a chance. By facilitating their growth, it's helping not just them, but their entire families, because their families will benefit financially from allowing this young athlete to come. So there's the recipients. That's the first piece of pie. That's kind of the heart, the emotion of it. A lot of the content will apply to them because there is already in creation a reality TV show, movie rights, large media, Disney, global TV, Red Bull. There's a long list of huge global media companies that have already said yes. Some agreements are locked in, some aren't. So that's this. That's the story part of it. People love story. And I mean, it's a massive category, sports around the world.
Right.
In football itself, let alone all other sports. So there's that component. Then the next component is where the crowdfunding comes into play, and that's the founding members, the crowdfunders, the investors, VC, venture capital. Over 30 million of private venture capital has already been put in. And now that's where this
there had to be a lot of money in order to start the first academy in Brazil. So you're saying they raised 30 million already to get that up and running, and that came through private equity. So we come in kind of their second round raise, basically.
Yeah, so this is where the scale up comes, and this is the funds that will help them continue to advance the foundation of what's already in place. So as a crowdfunder at this component, you purchase a founding package, and it happens to be in nodes on the blockchain. So not only are you crowdfunding, but you get actual data, actual technology that will be connected to and receive revenue. This is revenue share crowdfunding, and you will receive revenue for the lifetime of the project.
So I'm just showing the page. So the company is called Limitless, guys, and then they just created a page where if you did want to invest, I don't know if I can use that word, so let's just say take a shot at this project, this opportunity, this real world thing. This isn't no DeFi crap. This is a real world, like, let's go to Brazil and see the actual academy. Let's go talk to the football players that you can find on Wikipedia and go ask them why they put millions of dollars into this thing. So anyways, this opportunity, you end up here. And just yesterday, I just bought a founders pack. I put 2,000 USDT on the Tron network in this, and I may upgrade, but I was like, I got to talk to Bren and Susan before I throw too much money. They already have multiple six figures because they're crazy, or they just see the vision. And that's what I want to do, is see the vision, figure out the vision. And they're obviously,
they validate. They have actual technological actions that happen. You get tokens, and the nodes process and validate information, as well as make you a partner revenue share.
Okay, so
you never want to give a guarantee of, price of tokens. We've seen what can happen in the crypto space. But I'd just like to point out one thing. We, as the crowdfunding community, are going to mint 30% of the circulating supply. That is what is going to hit the market in September. You will need that token to do everything and anything. Again, a famous footballer hits their Instagram in September. When all of that influx happens, guess what has to happen? Anyone in the retail market, we're insiders, we're crowdfunders and founders, but on the retail side, where the masses will come in, that person has to purchase the token to get access to the NFTs we talked about, to get access to the digitized version of the players and the academies of the clubs. When he has to purchase that, removed from the simple basic law of supply and demand, lower supply, higher demand. There's going to be massive demand for the token because you need it to do anything in
Right.
every sport. So no guarantees, but even if it's worth it, anything because we're minting it, we're and look at, I don't want to name the project, but look, there was another project with nodes that people were getting for 1,000 less. There's, I think, 78 to 100,000 now per node. You'll have the opportunity to sell that asset in the future. You're getting an actual asset. And you mentioned NVIDIA.
Is it a fixed supply?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
And
So 30, and it's
each
30%.
level. Yeah, there's an overall fixed supply, and then as you've shown in the back office, that there are 6 levels of these, and there's fixed amounts of each one of the levels. And all of those transactions that Bren was mentioning, they all need to be validated. And the validation happens in these nodes that you're actually
Right, okay.
purchasing.
So for
Crowdfunding,
those that are new to
you get
blockchain,
revenue stream.
it's like in order to train your AI software, you need NVIDIA chips. Well, in order for the blockchain to be functional, you need these nodes. Guess what? You're going to own some of these nodes. And for the life of this project company endeavor, as long as they're interacting on the layer 1 blockchain that is now in-house that they've created, they're interacting with your nodes because you own one of them, because you signed up as one of the founders. Okay. So that's the way these guys have structured their crowdfunding. Is they wanted to create their own blockchain. And yeah, I know you're hearing, oh, they're creating their own token. That's ridiculous. Yes, I agree. Creating your own token is stupid unless it has utility,
Yes.
unless there's a fixed supply of it. Why would people want the token? You always have to ask that. Well, the token is what he's saying gives you access to be able to interact with this platform. Like for me, if I want to go get a bottle of water today in the country that I'm in, the world I'm in, I need this thing called fiat. I went today to get this water. They expected me to give them a US dollar for it. It's the same with this platform. If you want to interact with this layer 1, be a part of it, I want this player and all that. You can't show up with fiat. You've got to show up with this native coin. And so you're ending up, getting in on the ground level by accumulating these nodes, which are going to pay you out in this native coin. Is that kind of a summary of what's going on?
And that brings us to the third piece of pie. Do you want to talk about the third piece of this 3-piece pie is the retail market, which launches September 1st. And since you already mentioned it, do you want to elaborate on that? That's what Brian was talking about, of the social component of this and the NFT marketplace, which you already saw that website too.
Right.
Yeah. And just first to finish that point and go back, again, everything that ever happens in this blockchain, you get to own the transactional, the monetary value of that happening. In other words, between now and April 1st, if you get your node, you'll get compensated for any transaction fees for data storage. You mentioned NVIDIA earlier. They have server farms in Iceland and South Africa using NVIDIA processors.
Every server farm is going to need an NVIDIA chip, guys. That's why
Yes.
NVIDIA chip is going up, is because they own the monopoly right now
Yeah.
on the AI. If what they're saying is true, is that every company is going to need to upgrade to have an AI based chip, meaning all the other GP, it's too slow. You need the NVIDIA's like, we have the product. They have pricing power. That means they determine the price power. So keep that in mind, how they own the monopoly. AMD's trying to compete, right? But nobody can, they own it for, analysts are saying for the next 2-3 years, nobody's going to come close to NVIDIA. As an investor, I like that. That means you're going to sell everything that they make. Okay. That means so that's why you see the stock price fine. Well, what this project is saying is, hey, Jonathan, we didn't just create an NFT where you can tokenize players. That's what's happening. We didn't just do that. All the infrastructure of where all these millions of fans that are going to follow this player that says, hey, I just invested in this player, blah, blah, blah. All those interactions are going to happen on your blockchain. You own a part of it. You own the effing nodes. Okay. That's what's going on, is because you're one of the investors. So if you're asking, well, how much will I make per month? What is my ROI every day? That is not the right question to ask. You're not understanding the opportunity at this point.
Yeah, and you're owning the underlying hardware, and
Yeah.
Think about all the data that's being gathered in academies around the world with guys wearing devices in their body tracking the speed they're running at,
Yeah.
you know, and how fast they're kicking the ball. All that data has to go somewhere. Big data is 93.8 billion last year, up
Right.
48% from 2022. Big data, it all has to go somewhere. But every transaction, like this will be cross-compatible with Ethereum, with Block, with Solana, with Matic. People will be able to come across a bridge, all of that decentralized exchange, all of the bridge, all of those fees. You're going to earn from all of the fees that happen
And this
everywhere.
has already been built because they've been doing this for the last 18 months with a $30 million, cash pile that they're working with, right? From the previous
Yeah.
round of investors.
So the Dubai government and they've been a lawyer company for 28 years, came on stage at the event. We'll provide you that video. It's about 6 minutes long to give not speculation, a certified valuation of blockchain sports based on the tech that they currently have. They have a proprietary patented technology too for competitive sports,
Mhm.
VR for competitive sports. So, I mean, Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather Vegas and they can fight and everybody can watch. That kind of thing is, they already have it. Saudi Arabia offered $100 million just for their AI because they have the World Cup in 2034. They need to start cultivating talent now. There's massive demand for this. You get to own a piece of all of that transactional volume that happens in every sport, not just football.
And you
And
have to use
obviously,
this token to get into that too.
for all future sports, everything, yeah, that ever happens.
Okay. And then so the company is the company's called Limitless, or is it Blockchain Sports?
That's the company that is doing the project is Blockchain Sports,
Okay.
Limitless crowdfunding community.
All right. And then what about, so let's say you mentioned like Netflix or Disney or whatever, they want to pick up and do a documentary on these academies that are starting and how you can tokenize and all blah, 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 blah. They want to do a big story on this. Well, all the revenue that comes from that documentary, it it goes to the company, Blockchain Sports, right?
Well, it does, but as much as 50% of the revenue from that reality shows, media, etc., events even come through to the founding members, which are considered partners,
So
brand.
probably 50% of the net profit, not revenue.
Net profit, bottom line,
Yes,
not top line.
And that's just one vertical then.
correct.
And in that, will all those contracts be fully transparent, disclosed, not behind doors, hey.
Correct.
Absolutely, yeah. And this documentary is going into production, into recording March 1st. And I believe the goal is as they document the journey of these players and the finalists are playing in Disney France. That's already been secured. They're going to be playing the French football team in Disney France. So it's crazy. I mean, the
I
reach
don't know
is
what
going to
that means. They're gonna play the team in Disney France, like Disney
no,
World.
Disney World in France, they're going to play the French football team. So the finalists whose journey has been documented in
Ah,
this
like the
documentary.
best, and these are going to be the rising stars that are coming out of the block, just specifically the Blockchain Sports Academy in Brazil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But imagine Manchester United or Barcelona or something that starts looking in on this data and starts to see leaderboards of these players and geez, this kid can run like a cheetah, so he'd be a great midfield. This is when the contracts are going to start popping and all those uh, transfer fees that happen, 50% of that comes back to us too.
Yeah, I guess my greatest fear is like it's only as good as the contract. So like, you know, uh, can they get out of these contracts where like if I was a player and I know that, 20% of my lifetime income from this sport is going to a bunch of people, strangers, I'm going to do everything I can to get out of that contract and just create a brand new contract with some other franchise. How come they couldn't do that? Are they
Well,
signing their
it's
life
not,
away? It's just an interesting.
no. So the part of the contract, contract or player transfers that would be shared is not the part that would cross over to the player. The player gets all of their contract as they would normally, but there's an inside payment of all of the player contracts, whether they're transfers or initial contracts. That initial part that would usually stay in this exclusive world, that's the piece that's getting democratized. It's not taking anything away from the player.
Got it.
In fact, if anything, because it's being democratized and exposed and fully transparent data collection, they surmise, which, I mean, this is not in our area of expertise, but so they're telling us, they think that players will get accelerated quicker because of the transparent data collection and accuracy of it, and probably get higher contracts than they would typically be able
Yeah,
to.
I'm basically
Definitely more
partnering
access.
with a marketing company too. Like, you know, you guys are going to be talking
Don't
about
you think,
this.
yeah, don't you think a player would rather be financed, be raised up by his fans financially as opposed to some
Oh
greedy
yeah,
corporate
because now
institution?
I'm like marketing myself and it's all on the blockchain. I'm not making like marketing is all built in. Um, and you're at this state of the art academy because I saw the video, like it's phenomenal.
It's
I didn't know like 30 million could build something like that in Brazil. It doesn't seem like a lot of money.
Actually, they acquired another big. It's not. There's also going to be acquisitions. Like everyone doesn't have to start with the digger and a piece of land from scratch. They've acquired one for $8 million that's already in ready. Because a lot of these footballers, through their collaborations and partnerships,
Nice.
they'll just be the acquisitions and partnerships too that are already in motion, ready.
So we talked about the recipients. It's great for the kids. They're going to get this documentary. They're going to get marketing. Everybody's going to learn these rising stars. You know, but this is just in Brazil. They have aspirations to have it 12 different places. And then once this crowdfunding is done via, I think in September, they're going to take all that money, try to build out even more locations so that they can recruit talent. And then on the investor side, as founders, we get to benefit from this layer one blockchain by owning the nodes, owning the infrastructure, as you put it, Bren, where all the interactions for all time, as long as it's happening, you're benefiting from that. You get a percentage of that, and then we also are benefiting from all the players' NFTs in some regards, right? Can you speak to that? Like how, because I don't want to pick players. I don't know who's good, who sucks. Like, can you speak to the guy that's like, I don't want to get into like I picked a crappy kid and he sucks
Me,
at football.
me and Susan aren't. Well, Susan does actually. Both are.
Point is, you're not picking players that on the public marketplace. Yes, you're picking which NFTs,
Yeah.
but
In
as
September, people will be able to do that. That's not this.
no, you get a percentage of the revenue from all of the player transfers. You're not picking. In fact, from the moment that you purchase your founders pack, you become a brand partner and you get access to all the revenue streams, and there's nothing else you have to do other than log in and watch it grow. So
So
there's no picking.
I just
No,
saw if you get in before Sunday, there's something special about like this Sunday. Like my first profit is on Monday. How am I making any profit right now? Like how is
that's
that?
That's from the referral part. So the first number of days, because it's plugging into an existing community that's already been building as a team. So that's to give everybody a window of time to make sure everybody gets placed and there's no racing the clock, making sure that you follow in an order or anything. It's just coded into the smart contract that gets switched on after midnight UTC on Sunday, and that's just to give everybody a chance to get started.
So if I make any money, it's because people that signed up under me, I'm getting a portion of their profits from a referral link. That's what the
Yeah,
payment is
and
Monday.
maybe you already have. If you click on profile,
Where is that? Okay, I click profile.
Normally in a
drum
project.
roll.
Normally in a.
See,
Oh, there you.
So what does this mean?
Oh, that's
Wait, scroll up. Oh, no, that's yours. Yeah.
Your total purchases. This is me.
go
Yeah.
down, go down.
Keep scrolling.
Yes, there's 3,400 worth of sales,
Yeah. So you already have commissions.
earned $126.
Generation 10, direct volume 2,800, team volume 3,400. Does this include mine? Because
No,
No,
I put in 20. So this just means total about 3,400 has come in from people. I have 46 people on my team, and you might be like, how did he get that? Well, it's because I'm in Daisy. I'm in Endotech Daisy, which is their previous project. And I guess anyone that was on my team there immediately just
correct.
crosses over here without even using my referral link. See, you get a referral link here, guys. So that must have happened. And that's shocking because this is the first time I'm doing a video on it right now. So I do have a private group. I might create maybe I'll just leave the Daisy group but make it both. But you can see Rising Stars. Okay, so I don't have any of
they're
this.
bonus. So,
These are bonuses, yeah.
So it's so anyway,
But I don't
and
want
we
I
could.
don't want people to get caught up in this referring a friend and all that because that turns into like MLME, like, oh, you're just talking about this because you want to get referrals. And it's like you could see there, like
That's not what it's about.
I'm not. I don't. I just want to know if this is a good business opportunity. Like, will people be attracted to this business model? And can I get in on the ground level? So can you talk, Brenda and Susan, about like the actual finances on this? Like, how do we make money and when would we start making money? If I invest in this, like I just put $2,000 to work. When will I start making a return on that?
We actually don't know that timeline either, but as we,
You'll
I'm sure
never
there's
make money.
yeah, no, untrue. But they will definitely have more answers, and from that, we will do an AMA with the blockchain founders. Like, let's go to the source and ask
Well,
them.
I
So
think we'll start
that's where it's
seeing
you.
an income in September when they release these NFTs, and there's now
Well, that's
oh,
stuff
but
happening.
before that,
What what's that?
so yeah, the node, like as the back office rolls out, the node minting the tokens, you're going to see the amount of tokens that your nodes are generating. Normally in a project where you get to purchase a node, that's all you get. You just get the whatever tokens it can mint. And people have made fortunes because they can sell the node in 3 years' time, you know, usually 100x, several 100x returns. That'll happen here. We know that with the scale, magnitude, and scope of this. If that's all this was, it'd be so powerful. But our nodes get to act for storing all the data that's collected from players. We get to benefit from all. When does a decentralized exchange or something share transaction fees with you? We get all of that. You know, we
Right.
get everything from all transactions. And you mentioned earlier, well, but what if no players get any contracts? But that doesn't happen too often. Eventually, those gaps will fill in as there's more academies and
it's
there's
only one revenue
it's
stream.
only one revenue stream, but all the trading back and forth, buying and selling of all the NFTs. Oh, you
Yeah,
know
I think
what?
of it almost like a casino, guys. Like think of a casino that's launching and all they do is instead of providing slot machines and blackjack, they provide these NFT marketplace where you get to bid on like sports prop bets. Like I think this player is going to do really, really well in his career and I want to own a portion of all that he makes. Well, all those interactions are paying the casino gets a cut on all of that, guys. Whether the guy makes $1 million or nothing, the casino's always winning because they're getting the transaction fees. Okay, so it's like we get to be part of that, and instead of a shady casino, you're giving these kids an opportunity to have a platform to be marketable and to actually get attention so that they can get contracts that would ultimately change their life. They're getting access to these amazing academies that all have this AI infrastructure built in, all advanced technology. So if I was a kid, I'd be like, I want to go to the Harvard of soccer academies. And the way I determine whether it's a Harvard of a soccer or a football academy is what type of technology do you guys have, you know? And if they're able to track my nutrition, my sleeping, and it's really rigorous, and it's like you're going to work out, we got nutrition coaches and all that, I want to go there because I'm going to attract the scouts' attention. And the scouts are my doorway to going on an actual, you know, global stage, to be a part of a Manchester United, you know? So, but for
So
me
we
as
can
an
be
investor,
conservative and say that September 1st launch of the NFT marketplace would be for sure when the
yeah, you'll start seeing transactions and yeah,
correct.
my light just went
But
off.
in between there, any one of the other revenue streams could trigger revenue, and there could be revenue in between that. So that's where the I don't know comes. So for sure, September 1st, when the marketplace launches, and in between, whenever any of the other revenue streams brings revenue.
Yeah. And you know, any acquisition or any exits on any of the technology will earn revenue and all that. There's also rumors that an idea that came up, let's say Romario, like a world famous footballer. What if he handpicked his favorite players and you form an NFT bundle, and then on the retail market, person gets to invest in, you know, Romario's handpicked team, the guy who scored goals in the World Cup final. Oh, these are the players he thinks are good. Okay, I want a piece of that. So that's going to be happening as well. Uh, So again, this is the first sport when we have the UFC, boxing, you know, tennis, horse racing,
Horse
massive
racing is actually the biggest sport globally.
What is?
compared to football.
Horse racing.
Oh, so they want to, they are just, they think football's just the beginning. We could get into
Well,
horse
no,
racing and do that.
Blockchain sports,
that's the
not
plan.
blockchain football.
Yeah.
Blockchain sports. But what if they have competitors? Like if ESPN or I don't know, like a huge uh, gambling company, Penn, I don't know, some publicly traded company, FanDuel, DraftKings, they could say, well, we're going to do this. Um, you know,
I
they can
think
be,
it's the same. I'd give the same answer that every entrepreneur gives on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
They're going to be so
yeah.
far ahead they're going to be eating their dust. But not just that.
That they might want to buy them out. They might want to say, we want a portion of it. You know, they act, yeah.
Where where are those guys going to find developers that have worked on VChain and Chainlink and even begin to find their way around this space?
Right.
The
But
technology is patented. So
I really, my biggest concern, and it's just a concern, it doesn't mean it's a red flag. It's how legit are these blockchain contracts? Like, you know, like for instance, the documentary you guys mentioned, there's going to be real money exchanged. Hey, we want to do a documentary on the academy and your AI tech and show these young rising stars and them working out what it takes. We think people in the world that love football are going to want to watch this. So we want to make a documentary. Okay, how much? Well, again, it's going to be more than this, but let's say we'll give you $1 million. Okay, so now blockchain sports as a company limit, or yeah, I guess them, they take
blockchain
in
sports.
they take in $1 million. They know their costs are $500,000. But there's no way to like keep them accountable to that. Like maybe they spend it all on, you know, business meals or whatever, and they go, "Oh, our net profit was only $100." And oh, but we're going to split that $100 to all of you guys that were founders. Um, I just want to know, like, how is transparency on contracts and stuff like that? How will we know? Like, do we get to see that? Did anybody at the conference speak to that?
They actually didn't, and that's a great question. So let's come back to that. Let's find out the accurate answer. We will ask the blockchain sports founders directly and get the
Yeah,
accurate answer. to that. Where in specific, the contracts, the agreements, and the deals, how much of it will be transparent, how much of it will be revealed. So for example, the documentary is in plans in motion. I believe it's a March 1st, right? The reality series is already in progress. It's being filmed.
right. But what
And
we haven't seen are the contracts. What we haven't seen, because a lot of times these are under NDAs and they can't just disclose how much was paid for what and all that. So I'm just trusting that I'm, as an investor, gonna get what, 10% of all of that? Or I don't
They
know.
do have they do have a financial incentive to keep us happy, because we're their distribution channel. They're not going to an advertising agency. We are their word of mouth marketing community. They want, and you can stain a company's reputation with 250,000 people real fast on social media. So they want to stay in our,
Yeah, I
it's
see.
a
That's great. Meaning, like, the reason they even came to the Endotech
Leverage.
community was because they thought there's already an established community, so we can already get our second round funding via them, and they'll serve as basically free marketing because they're all going to talk to their
it's
communities about this. Um,
free marketing and not having to give away.
and they're not having to give away equity, okay, and they're not having to deal with
Yeah,
like one big player that put 30 million in and he's determining the direction of the company.
right. So
Exactly.
this is not equity share. This is revenue share crowdfunding.
Yeah,
And
so
normally, if
we
you look
don't
at
have
revenue
any equity in it.
crowdfunding,
We just get access to revenue.
yeah, but we get access to the hardware, which is almost like owning a part of the company because it's what everything is going to need and what everything's going to be built on, but
As
not
long as
equity.
they never change it. Like, is there anywhere that says 5 years down the road they go, we're actually going to wrap up the token, we're not going to use it anymore, we're going to change it, and then we're like, what? We thought this was for life.
Right? Yeah. The long term roadmap. I think once you get into the founders themselves and see their integrity and see the way they operate, and we've been
Well,
around them for
it's
weeks
like
at a
Susan
time.
said, if they were to do that, all of a sudden they have a ton of people that would just hate on them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be
Yeah.
bad
If
for
it,
the
it, if you got private equity or something from an institution and they own 40% of your company, you've only one person to piss off. But
right.
here, piss off 250,000 people and they all take to social media, it wouldn't look good. So there's almost a bit of collateral there because of the power of the community to hold them accountable.
So
But
I feel
when you
like,
see,
okay, so just to wrap this up, because the video is getting long, we did touch about like this three-piece pie. I like that. In the opportunity. So now we have people have until September to get in on this. Um, and they just come to this website. I'll leave my link in the description. And you click on contribute. You've got to have USDT on the Tron network, and you have to have. I'm using a VPN. I use Surfshark. I'm in Germany. There it is. So, because of regulations in some countries, you can look into that. Um, I just bought the founders pack for 2,000 USDT, and then it shows like this founders pack for 8,000. I can upgrade, but I don't have to spend 8,000. I just spend 6,000 since I already contributed 2,000. So if you're on the fence and you're like, I want to wait for more, that's fine. You can just end up, get a $500 pack, and and then one day maybe you'll upgrade to 2,000, whatever. It's up to you guys. This is giving you access again to those nodes on their blockchain, which is already been built out. You can read more about it here. This is the foundation part for blockchain sports. This is where everything is going to live. And you want access to that if you believe that people are actually going to interact with this blockchain. Why would they interact with this blockchain? Because they want access to this.
why
And
would
this
they interact with it? Because the 30 people that were on that stage have a reach of about half the globe between them
Yeah.
with their influence.
Right. And out of
I
that,
just I just like to point out that I think it's kind of funny that with a lot of the crypto programs that come and go that are anonymous, you don't even know who's behind them. And this project is at such a caliber that we're here going, I wonder, will the company that has a certified valuation of $1 billion and a reality TV show planned, are they going to share their quarterly financials with us?
Yeah.
It's on a whole different level compared to a lot of the crap that comes and go with them crypto casinos.
Accountability and integrity are at an all-time high with this group. And you see here the CEO, Dimitri, we've spent on 3 separate occasions, we've spent a great deal of time with him. This is his vision, his mission, and he's absolutely dedicated and works right with his team.
And
Incredible fella.
they own another company, Atomic Mining, where they've top of the range NVIDIA processors in multiple continents. So all the cloud storage and of everything we're talking about, it's already, the infrastructure is already there.
Right. So
Yeah.
this is the team behind um just the blockchain aspect of it. Like I'm sure there's got to be other leaders that are a part of recruiting talent and the academies and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Massive, yeah.
They have a huge team.
So you said 1,000+ people on payroll, or
There's
Yeah.
developers, yeah.
That
but
in
I'm sure
developers as
these
well.
guys aren't necessarily like on payroll. They're hoping that to, make money on the back end of, blowing up this layer one.
Yeah.
Can
Um,
we share our screen really quick and we'll just show
yeah.
you a page that was put together.
Yeah, guys, so join while they're doing that. I will have a Telegram group where they're in there, Brennan, Susan, me. You guys are going to be able to ask your questions. We'll visit it. And then if you do want to contribute, want to get in early, I'll leave a link to do that for as little as $500, 500 USDT. So yeah. All right, what's this? This is your
This is a page that Susan put together. What we did was chopped up some footage from the live event. Not everyone wants to sit through 3 hours. It links out to the white paper. This is the story of blockchain sports. It's a 6-minute video. It goes into the backstory and also the tech. This is a must watch. This sports science and health tech with Dr. Eric. When you see the technology that the NFL and everything's already using, that's what's coming here to blockchain sports. Football legends. This is the video where we're talking about, Jonathan. This is them on stage calling out each of the 30 world famous influential players that were there at the event, and then they all come up on the stage. And here's the certified valuation. They're presented with the certificate on stage of the valuation of the company for just some of the tech verticals and the NFT marketplace. So it's just over $1 billion valuation. There's only ever been 7 crowdfunding projects that have reached $1 billion valuation. They call them unicorns, and we're already one of them.
wow.
Then we just bullet points here, yeah. And this is certified, and it's all patented technology. And anyone that you mentioned earlier, what if someone else tries to do it? Anyone that tries to do it,
They'll be stopped immediately. Cease and
up
desist.
to criminal, yeah, offense. So
Right.
we,
Okay. So this
yeah,
website just kind of gives a summary if people want to do a deeper dive on this. And the reason I'm taking so much time, guys, on this project, if you're used to my channels, I'll do a lot of gamble type plays, but this one I'm like looking at how much should I put in this sucker?
in this.
This is a long-term investment opportunity for me. That's the way I'm thinking of it. And yeah, like Bren, Susan, like you should probably have thought through this. Like, what do you think? When do you think this thing? I mean, you said we can sell our nodes at some point. You said what, 3 years down the road is when they're going to allow us to sell?
Well, we don't have a timeline on that. As soon as we do, we'll let you know. But I mean, whether it's going to act like a marketplace in and of itself, if someone wants to just rid
Right.
themselves of it, not, we don't.
Right. Okay. But look at guys, these are just obviously people that see this as a great investment opportunity. And they raised 30 million already. That's hard to do. And now the second raise is via this crowdfunding approach via crypto and all this, because it's built-in community and free marketing for them. Without
Yeah.
all the headaches of VCs. So I
And
know
it's finally a real world use case for NFTs. I mean, NFTs, this silly low pixel picture of a monkey with a cigarette, and the person thinks they're going to become a millionaire. Here we're
right,
using NFT technology for a real world use case. That's
right.
incredible. Oh,
So
Yeah,
that's partly where our confidence lies is because the technology has real world use case in a massive category, which is sports. So the validity of that and the future use, the sustainability and the longevity is got a high probability of locking in and being quite incredible. So
Right.
that's why we feel so strongly about it. And then, of course, the part of the coin which we've dropped on in multiple pieces, but just saying outright, meeting the people and spending time with the founders and some of the team behind it, getting to know their character. We can only parlay that through stories. So, as you could say, oh, they could just say that, and we could, but our reputation is really important to us, so we wouldn't if it wasn't true. So our confidence partly lies in just knowing the future probability of it being incredible because of the category, because of the sports industry, but also because of the people behind the project.
Yeah, you'd have to believe one, the founders are honest when they have integrity and competency, and two, that this is fixing a real problem, a real world solution. And what is that? It's people, sports fans want to feel more of a sense of ownership into the games and not just betting on who's going to win the game, but imagine feeling like I own a portion of this player and his whole story. Like if I saw a rookie in basketball and I'm like, man, that guy I think is going to be big in the NBA, and I get access to now place a bet on him and just hold an NFT, that's fun. But again, what I love about this is I don't know anything about football. I don't have to. I get to be part of the founders packs, which allows me just to be part of benefiting from all the millions of people that are going to hopefully interact with this ecosystem. I'm going to benefit from that, from all the transactions, and so that's the opportunity here. I wish I got in on the $30 million raise. I'm sure they got a better payout, but here we are. It's life. Like those
Now,
football players, they probably made out pretty well.
exactly. And part of those celebrities, the legends that have already said yes, that in fact it was an emphatic yes, that they want to be a part of it, they want to back it, they want to support it. Some of them are playing huge roles as far as contributing in their area of expertise, whether it's coaching. There's one that in specific his area of education is psychology. So he wants to and is going to oversee the psychology component and support of these young athletes. So part of the reason why they're so backing it so much is because they see the real use potential, but it's protecting the players themselves and their advancement. So because part of the things that has always been and going wrong in the sports industry with the contracts is human error and emotional judgment. With maybe some scouts or some drama happened with a certain player. Maybe they have all the skills. Maybe
Right.
they were great, but there's some sort of drama or emotional bias that happened. So they don't get traded. They don't get a good contract because the data and the stories that were told about them were skewed. This is all of the data collection is hard coded onto the blockchain. And like
And
Bren mentioned, it's
did they mention
visualized.
how many players they're going to be NFTing or tokenizing to start with? Like how many can they actually do?
Well, there's no limit on how many they can do. It's infinitely scalable. But right now, going through the academy in Brazil, I believe they've about 50 to 70 players.
Okay. Because they have to
Mm,
provide them housing and all that. That's expensive.
yeah,
Yeah, we actually toured the housing that's in place right now,
For
yeah.
and
those
they're expanding.
players. So the scouts picked those players to come,
Yes.
and part of that agreement was you're going to be an NFT, buddy, and people are going to hope that you make it pro. Uh, and then BitSport or
Was quite
You know what? Players love it because then they can't be manipulated. There's enough manipulation space to go, let's show the blockchain what we're made of, as in let's prove to the world how good we are. It's all right there
this is
for
how
everyone to
fast my
see.
kick is. This is how fast I run and all that stuff. Yeah. Um, so and then blockchain sports puts these contracts in place with the teams that want to recruit them, right? And so when a team comes to blockchain sports and says, "Hey, but we've been watching that kid. We want to recruit him for this is crazy, Manchester United." Okay, well, how much? 2 million for 3 years. Okay, cool. And then blockchain sports gets the 2 million, and then we get a portion of that, or is it only the NFT holder that has that specific player?
No, no, it gets divided up in and the founding partners, which would be us, the brand partners, gets a
For
percentage.
all the contracts of all players?
Correct.
for every sport.
For every
I mean,
sport?
you have to
Well,
be able to,
every next sport that we scale up. Right now it's football. The next one may or may not be horse race.
Right.
that, again, that's just one aspect of it. Transfer fees. Like transfer fees is about 9.3 billion a year for football. I mean, it's pretty big. So to get a cut of that, if you go on, there's a you can you know the way you can look up how many people are searching certain phrases monthly to tell you how many people are typing something into Google. If you
Right.
type in transfer fees, you'll see Manchester United transfer news, Arsenal transfer news, mid 3 to 5 million searches per month. There's one website a guy was showing me on a cruise we did in Dubai. The amount of people that go there just to see who's been transferred where. And we have a big investor in Denmark that said he actually became a fan of Chelsea just because a Denmark player ended up being transferred there. Now he starts following his favorite player, starts following Chelsea. Now he's a fan of that club. So imagine when the fans actually get to own a piece of the transfer fees. They're going to lose their mind.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, but
massive. It's
this
going
is
to,
only on, like, you don't get to bet, and none of the professional players that are playing right now in football are going to be NFT'd. That's not this opportunity. This is for
No.
up and coming
sure.
rising stars, high schooler basically aged people. This is, total, because the other guys already have their contracts in place. You
Those are,
can't break those
yeah,
contracts.
yeah. Those are the guys that are going to be ambassadors for it.
Well,
Ambassadors.
they might become
They're allowed to.
investors in buy an NFT of their favorite player and say,
Yes.
this is where
Right.
I'm putting my money.
Yeah.
We'll see though. I mean, because is there any way that this could be shut down? Like FIFA might say, we absolutely do not want, this is horrible for the sport and blah blah blah, and we won't take any
Here's
players that come from this NFT, blah blah blah. I don't know.
Well, that's a great question, and of course we'll be gathering more accurate information as we go. But what we do know is the legal team has been in conversations with FIFA for this entire
Good.
20 months that it's been in
It
conversation.
it
So
was people representatives at that,
yes,
and they
Why
loved
doesn't
it.
FIFA invest in this?
maybe
Do
they are.
investments? I don't know. I don't know anything about this world. FIFA, are they a
Already,
regulatory body and that's it? I don't know.
private institutions, they look, blockchain sports have already been offered all the money they need, way more than the valuation, actually, multiples of the
Then
certified
why are
value.
they giving away this not equity, but the revenue share? Why are they doing this?
That's cheaper than giving away a company,
It's
giving away
cheaper than
your
giving
company.
away the equity of the company. So, but you, Brent, aren't you mad about that? Aren't you like, well, frick, I want equity in the whole thing?
No, well, with I almost see it as a form of equity because of the underlying architecture that you
As
get to
long as
own the
they
layer.
use it. But what again? Like, and that's again where Susan says, well, if they
It's
screw
lots.
us,
We're talking about risk and you
right?
mitigate. Yeah, it's just weigh out your risk.
Yeah. I mean, again,
There's no guarantee.
go back to the fact that they want to keep us happy. Go back to the fact
Right.
that it's a win-win situation. They want to serve the community. Uh, Obviously, yeah, everything carries an element of risk. I mean, any company that you invest in, but I believe that everything is in place for this to succeed. I mean, it's not, again, you're mitigating risk too, that you're not getting in at the real early stage of the startup. They've already proven their competency with their execution and what has been accomplished in record time. So
When you started investing in Apple, did you know where Apple was going or what was
No,
gonna?
but I knew that Apple is a publicly traded company and therefore falls under a huge set of regulations. And that is what gave me confidence, is that there's no way that they could screw me without having major legal consequences. And that's the great thing about the New York Stock Exchange is I know if I invest in a company on it, it doesn't mean that Apple might
Just
not get a virus on all their iPhones and then no one wants to buy an iPhone tomorrow. You're right, there's inherent risk, but I evaluate all sorts of things like, who the founders are and what's the products they make. Do people love it? Um, so I
Yeah,
get it. I get it.
yeah,
It's like, it's so much easier when you're like, I own equity on this company. Because in Apple, I own equity of Apple. When I own a share of Apple, I own a piece of the company. But that's why the contracts are so important to me, is if this is a portion of the revenue, I need to know like top line revenue. I need to see that broken down to make sure that the profits aren't being manipulated where they're like, well, we'll give them some crumbs, but let's move this into an expense column, even though the expenses they're paying
is
out
there
other people. Like, I just do, I wonder, I don't want there to be creative financing. I want there to be good transparency.
well, we will get more details on
Yeah.
exactly how that,
yeah,
what the transparency and how it is going to be communicated on each of the revenue streams.
Right.
because you bring up a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we can expect to get our first payout post September, just from the blockchain fees. Have they broken down how much of the fees we get and all that?
That'll be daily in real time. Again, just keep the number up 50% in your mind. Pretty much everything across the board is being fed back to the community at 50-50.
Okay. So if I own out of that 50%, that means I'd have to buy up all of the nodes. How much is that? Have you done the math on that? How much are they actually
Yeah.
selling, raising?
Oh, oh yeah, 1.2 billion. So in the slide in the presentation, it breaks down how much of each package is
Right.
available, and a request has been made to make that visible in the back office so that you can see how many's left.
Yeah.
It could still go fast. There's no guarantee this is going to last 6 months, you know.
Right. So they're
About,
raising
there's about five,
1.2
6
billion.
million.
Correct.
There's about 6 million per day coming in right now, current
Right.
trajectory. So
Six.
that would take the 6 months to reach the billion at 5 million. 5.5 million per day would take 6 months to reach a billion.
It's unlikely to stay at that pace though, because like it
Right.
was just launched. So
What if they don't reach that billion, 1.5 billion?
Yeah, the thing is, and I think you mentioned it earlier, where you're like in September, once they have the funds, they can get to work. They're at work now. They don't need to raise the entire amount to start deploying it and putting it to use.
Right. They've got 30 million to work with their
So,
initial.
yeah, as the money comes in, like t over 10 million has come in now. So
Right.
5 million of that is the venture capital for them, you know?
yeah. And the marketplace is already built. September 1st is the launch day. As you saw,
Yeah.
the website is out.
Right.
They post.
Are the
They're
players already gonna out? Like they already have the players in the academy, so their data is already being tracked.
correct.
Yeah.
And I can go on Instagram and actually see that they're real people. And
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're all photoshopped into the videos.
hey, these are all AI
The
software.
event in Dubai,
It's all AI.
the event in Dubai didn't happen.
Right. So that's great. But then just because there's 50 to 60 players playing football somewhere in Brazil in a fancy academy doesn't mean they're top of the food chain that Manchester United's actually paying attention to. They
You don't
might,
have to get all the way to Manchester United. There's different tiers along the way. And again,
right.
even if the contract never happened, there's still going, with the influence of all the famous footballers, there's still going to be massive transactional volume happening with the NFTs. We don't have to wait for a transfer to happen to earn anything. Every transaction along the way, as one guy decides, again, Romario, famous footballer, says, I think this kid's a great player. Someone goes on, sells the 10% of the NFT of this kid they owned because they want to move the money into this kid. that was just recommended by a famous footballer. So
But how
all
much
that,
is that fee? It may be like, is it like 10 cents? And then I get a portion of that?
So it's more than 10 cents.
two,
Yeah.
3% stakes, you know?
Yeah,
Oh, it's a percentage of that NFT, whatever. Like if there,
correct.
so if $1,000 is being transferred on this marketplace every day, we could be getting, you mentioned like 3% of that.
If someone owns Polygon and they have to come over the Polygon bridge, that could be 1 or 2%. You know, there's fees everywhere.
Right.
And then the science and health technology. So the academies will be using the technology. There's wearable vests, there's a sensor that goes on the leg that can tell how
Yeah.
fast they move, and all of that technology being used by other clubs, other sports. Where all of the revenue from that's a completely separate vertical. That doesn't require player transfer. That doesn't require a successful football athlete to have a contract. It's a completely independent vertical.
Blockchain Sports owns the technology of all of that?
You have to watch that video with Dr. Eric.
No,
It's
no, that's
insane.
important to me. Like, are you
Yeah.
saying that blockchain sports, they own all of the ability to gather data on real time on these players?
And there's 92 patents on it.
That's crazy. What sports franchise wouldn't want this?
But he goes through a list of them. He shows all the sports on it.
Basketball,
It's
football,
crazy.
Yeah.
baseball.
It's like Amazon Web Services. You know how like there's probability metrics on like, hey, should they go on fourth down? The announcer will say it's a 64% chance. It's because we have all the data of every past game. It gets filtered through AI, and AI goes, you have a 60% chance of making it based on historical data. 4th and 1, this team against this team who plays this type of defense, you should go for it. And then that influences coaches' decisions in real time. So that
Yes.
data collection is worth a ton of money to me if I am the owner of the Detroit Lions. Whereas what you're saying is like, not think about this for the scouting world in football. If you're able to provide the scout, hey, here's a bunch of technology that we've established, and here's the real data of every player. Every
Yeah.
scout is going to be like, I want that everywhere. Like that makes my job so much easier. And you're saying blockchain sports owns the patents and the technology on that they're using in their academies that the documentary is going to make visible, and that's going, and then they're going to talk about this marketplace NFT concept in the documentary, and then people are going to want to be interacting, and then there might be companies that are like, let's buy them out, and we would benefit.
When the anchors or whoever's inside, are paying their license fee, again, all that revenue is coming back to us. It's founders.
And then one of the other verticals is the virtual reality. What is it even called? But anyway, people in completely different spaces, cities, countries can play each other or fight each other. Let's say two boxers want to have a match. They don't have to physically be in the same space. They can use this technology to compete with each other.
And yeah, we don't know full details of how that works, but
Yeah, because like boxing, I could see
I
that
don't know.
working,
Yeah.
but like football, you need a full football field to
it's for
running with
one-on-one. It's for one-on-one sports, but that technology is part of the certified valuation. It's one of 10 verticals that was
Yeah, think
assessed.
about that. Because so Apple Vision Pro, I could see I put on my Apple Vision Pro, and then Bren, you put yours on, and we make $100 wager, and it puts us in AI into this like tennis court, and then we're playing an actual game against each other, and the winner of it, maybe people start
You're a
betting on
famous,
us.
if you're a famous athlete, and so am I, and there's a million people watching, then it
The
goes crazy.
views, the money, yeah, the marketing deals. So that's gonna be the future, is like we
Yeah.
can, inside of VR, you're not just watching NFL and FIFA, you're watching like live streamers that you can put money on, or maybe you own their NFT, and they all the portion of their earnings, so
How
the
big is the betting industry, betting or gambling?
yeah, yeah.
putting wagers.
So blockchain sports has a section of their team working on that vertical.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean that I think the infrastructure isn't there yet, obviously, because not everybody has an AI pair of goggles and all this crap, but the future is going there. Like we know that. So
Yeah.
you're getting in early. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you guys go. Thanks for watching this video. I know it was long, but it's the things that get Bren, Susan, and myself excited are the future, and it's technology, and it's the opportunity to invest, put your money to work into the amazing geniuses that are developing this type of technology. I mean, we just sit back and hopefully one day we'll just collect paychecks and be excited that we were part of it. Like if right now, Elon's robotics division in Tesla branched off and said, "Hey, do you guys want to be a part of this? We think this could replace a big portion of the labor market. Jobs that are dangerous, jobs that are monotonous, that are, would you invest in that?" It's like, well, yeah, but there's no data to say that anyone's going to buy it. No one, but you trust the founder. You're like, who are the founder? Elon. Okay. I'm going to bet on Elon. Everything he touches works. Robotics. Do I believe in this industry? Are robots going to replace some jobs? You don't even need to talk about every job. Just some. Yes. Literally, Elon's going to make it where his robots are building the Tesla cars. The number one expense most companies have is labor. Okay. And a lot of these jobs suck. So you don't want humans that are doing them, hate doing them. It's just the nature. So you can't stop technology. And Elon says, "Hey, do you want an opportunity to invest in robotics?" It's like, or do you want to invest in the next Chat GPT? These are no brainers to me. So I look at sports, and as a sports bettor myself, I go, what's the next level of sports betting? What does it look like? Is it always prop bets? Who wins the game? Or is it like you're really smart at tracking talent. You see young LeBron James coming up in high school, and you're like, this guy's making ESPN already. And then you find out he makes a deal with blockchain sports, and you get an opportunity to be like, I want in on that. I want to invest in LeBron James's career. Well, you'd pick up an NFT, and maybe there's only so many NFTs for LeBron James. So if they all sell out, the price of all the NFTs goes up. Nobody wants to release it, right? And then what's cool is me, Brennan, Susan, we don't really care if it's LeBron James or so-and-so. You're just in our ecosystem now. You're in the ecosystem, and we're benefiting every time you interact with the ecosystem. So if you believe that this is the tokenization of players and that football is only going to get bigger and this technology that they have could get licensed for scouts and other teams to employ, and this documentary is going to bring national and global attention, this is the ground floor opportunity that you have. So I just feel like, if you're going to gamble in DeFi space and stuff, why not gamble at this? The minimum is 500, basically. I wouldn't do the 100. I would, wait to do 500. And then I put in 2,000. These guys have multiple six figures. But the reason I went so low is I wanted to wait for this conversation. And then I also would love just to get more information. So they're going to come back on the channel. We're going to keep this dialogue happening and go from there. So thank you guys for it was a lot, but I think we got there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
All right. We'll see you in the next one, guys. All the links below. Let me know what you think.